Welcome to the Gainz, where we talk about all things health and fitness. I'm your host, Leah Messenger. Let's get into it. Hey guys, I'm here with Ashley Kaltwasser. Hi, Ashley.
Hi, how's it going?
Really good. I'm so excited to have you on the podcast. You're one of the people I looked up to when I first started competing, and I think you were like the first person I ever found out about. So,
Oh, I'm blushing over here. Well, thank you. Thank you. I'm very flattered.
of course. So, how did you get into fitness? Where are you from? Give me the rundown, I guess.
So I'm just a girl from Akron, Ohio, just an average girl. But so growing up, I've always been obsessed with gym class.
Mm-hmm.
From a young age, like I was trying to beat all the records in gym class. I was trying to beat the boys. I wanted that jump rope record. I wanted that chin up record, push up, the whole thing.
Yeah.
So I've always had like an interest in sports. And I was in gymnastics as a child. And then, as I went into middle school, I found that like, hey, I'm pretty fast. So I joined the track team and I was pretty successful at it in high school, and I got a scholarship to a Division I college to run 400-meter hurdles. So
Wow.
I continued my track throughout college,
Mm-hmm.
and then once college is over, for a track runner, there's really nowhere to go unless you're going to go to like the Olympics if you're that good. So I was kind of feeling lost. I felt like, man, my entire life I've been training for something. I've been I've always had a goal, a meet, a competition, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And now I don't. And I just felt so lost. And I followed my high school track coach on Facebook. And I noticed she was doing these like competitions and she did figure. And, I was like, man, I kind of want to try. So I went to the gym with her one day and I found out they had bikini too. And I was like, hey, I want to try that. So I ended up trying it and I fell in love with it. It was so fun to me. And the rest is history.
So you first originally heard about it through like the figure category, and then you found out about bikini and were like, that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Did you originally compete in the NPC or a different league?
Always NPC.
NPC.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's so cool. So how did you get from starting to compete to becoming 3-time Miss Bikini Olympia?
Well, my first few shows, I wasn't that good. I mean, I guess it was good considering, but I had a lot of research to do. I kind of came in a little bit unprepared. Should have researched the sport a little bit more. Like, for example, I came in with a salon spray tan. I came in from a bikini from Target.
Yeah.
I bleached my hair like blonde. It was a mess. But also my posing sucked. And, I just didn't have an idea. I had a good physique for it though. I mean, honestly, I didn't change that much from my college track physique to then a bikini just because I had a good base to work with, right? It wasn't some drastic transformation I had to do. It was more of those little things. But anyway, my first few shows I wasn't that good at. But it took a year of me kind of finding my style and catching on to these things and learning more about the sport and what they want. And then a year later, from stepping on stage for my first time, I won a pretty big show as an amateur. I won the Arnold Amateur Overall. So that was a big show, and it was in Ohio, so it was extra special because all these girls are coming from like all over the world, and I just drove like 2 hours to Columbus, Ohio to compete. And that was like a, whoa, wait a minute, I'm kind of good at this. Whoa.
Yeah.
And that was like, okay, I can really take this seriously now. So, I competed in a few more shows and I ended up getting my pro card that year too.
That's so cool. So that was like the show that really you realized like this could be something for me.
Yes, absolutely. And then as a pro, I surprised myself even more. I was honestly just expecting, or my goal was to win one show as a pro, one show. And I thought that would be the pinnacle of my career. My life would be made. Even then, I thought that was like a big ask. I was like, whoa.
Biggest goal you could possibly get.
Yeah. I was like, oh, maybe one day I could do it, but it's still going to be really difficult. I might not be able to do it.
And then now you have 29 pro wins.
Yeah. Yes.
We're basically, crazy, I would say you're the standard for bikini.
Oh, well, thank you. you. Yeah, and you know something? In my whole career, I've exceeded my expectations so many times. And
Mhm.
it's so crazy just to look back and think like, what the heck? How did I do that?
Yeah.
So it's
You
been
don't
fun.
even realize like how far you can go. Like you're only dreaming like so big, and then once you exceed that, you have to like dream even bigger, and it just keeps
Yeah.
growing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So
All these amazing things keep happening. And I'm just like, whoa, I'm living a dream right now. So
yeah.
it's been fun.
Do you foresee yourself competing for a long time then?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm just getting started. Like I might be warmed up right now. Might be, but I got a lot to go. I'm just getting started. Yep.
Exactly. That's good though,
Heck
because
yeah.
you're not discouraged by anything. And
Mm-mm.
you know what? You keep showing up and
Yes.
you keep,
Yeah.
I know, like, I remember seeing stuff about people saying, like, well, why does she keep competing if, if she's already qualified for Olympia? But it's like, she can keep competing because it's what, lights a fire in her soul.
Oh yeah.
And if you want to win, then you have to work just as hard or harder.
Absolutely. It's
And,
it's so fun for me. It is so fun.
exactly.
Like I never expect to win a show. I never do. But when I do, it is an amazing feeling. And it's like you would think that I've never won before, the feeling I feel when I win. It's not, you would think that it'd be like, oh, just another. No, I get so excited. I get surprised. I
Time.
feel that adrenaline. I'm like, oh my God. So, I mean, I do it because I love it, but also it is my job and I want to be a good representation for the sport. I want to be a legend for real. And
You
I
are already.
also, I figure like YOLO, you never know what's going to happen. Who knows if there's another crazy virus or something that happens next year? You never know. So you
Exactly.
got to make the most of your life. And also each show I do, I learn something. And it's like, I, you can practice in front of your coach all day long. You can practice in front of your iPhone, but there is no better practice than the stage. And there's no comparison to that actual stage itself for practice. And you pick up little things that you can improve on.
Exactly. And I think in this sport, like there's always room for improvement. There's always something that you could have done better or you can change. So like there's never like perfection ever.
Exactly. Even if it's something that nobody else picks up on, but I do, even if it's like a hair flip or something like that.
Mhm.
I'm so studious after a show. I'll research my videos, my photos, get feedback and see what I can do better. And I really look into it, because there is no such thing as a perfect show. And I'm still learning,
Yeah.
even though I've competed so much, still learning. So yeah, it's
You
fun.
can always learn from everything. And I can tell you have fun. Like we always, you know, all of social media or anyone who follows you on social media can see like how genuinely happy you are. Like even just going into a show, like you don't look as like miserable and you're not like, I don't know, focusing on any like negativity. Like,
Right.
I think some competitors will sometimes focus on the negativity or they feel like crap or whatever. But you're
Right.
always like so positive and
Yeah.
like so happy going to the show and I'm seeing you do like cartwheels or whatever and it's like
Oh,
feels good
yeah.
going to shows. You're
Yeah.
like so excited. So you have like such a positive mindset. And I
Mhm.
think that that's like another reason why you've succeeded in the sport.
Yeah. I think a lot of times competitors, how do I say this? Especially like competitors that are pro,
Mhm.
they take little things for granted and they lose a sense of gratitude, right? For
Mhm.
example, when I got my first sponsorship, it was free spray tanning. And
Mhm.
I was so like, oh my God, I
Yeah.
got free spray tanning. You know what I mean? That feeling of being like so grateful, like I can't believe it. And
Yeah.
I think the more successful people get, they tend to forget like those little things, right? And they're just like, oh, man, and
Yeah.
I think what really gets me like excited and keeps me happy and it's just remembering the little things, having a sense of gratitude and just knowing that like I'm in a very unique situation. I'm very lucky to live this life.
Exactly.
And, the fact that I can prep and compete and many people aren't able to do that, like, think about it. It's crazy how lucky we are to have this, awesome sport where we can have fun with and do whatever we want with. But, I think a lot of times we definitely lose that, especially people in prep, get the crankies and start to feel
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
miserable. But at the end of the day, that's the life you chose, and
Exactly.
deal with it.
I always think like I've only done 2 shows, right? So, but I was thinking during my first prep, I was like, "You know what? I need to not complain because I chose to do this,
Mhm,
and I'm, like, choosing to be miserable, I guess, in a
mhm.
way, or, like, do all this crazy cardio and eat in a deficit, and I can stop whenever I want. No one's holding me hostage to this, so, like, there's no point in being negative because I'm choosing to do this for myself." But I
Right.
think you're right that, like, gratitude is, like, so important and not taking things for granted because
Mhm.
I think not only in competitors, but in social media influencers in general, they're taking a lot of things for granted, thinking that they are entitled to it, but they're
Right,
not always entitled.
exactly. Yeah, because the more success you get, the more recognition you get, the more freebies you get, the more opportunities, and those start to stack up, and people forget what it felt like when they got their first opportunity. So I
Mhm.
never forget that, and I never forget the little things or look over them. I'm like, I recognize it every day. Like I'm so lucky to be able to do what I love. So.
Exactly.
This podcast is brought to you by Gainz, the fittest subscription box. Gainz is a quarterly fitness subscription box that has apparel, supplements, and equipment created for the sport of fitness.
So, how did you get into social media? Did you get into social media after you started competing or before?
Well, before, but I wasn't as serious about it. And honestly, I used to be a lot better at it. So my story is like I definitely picked up some traction when I won my Olympias.
Mhm.
Um, but it really escalated whenever I moved to LA. And this is a very, I guess, unique scenario.
Mhm.
So I lived in LA for a few years, and I just like the atmosphere is much different from Akron, Ohio, and I think that's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
Everyone was out hustling and bustling, and I love the motivating environment. Although it wasn't necessarily like a fitness hotspot, I
Mhm.
loved it. So I lived in a place in Hollywood, and I took a tour in this one apartment complex, and I really liked it for the amenities and the location.
Mhm.
So when I moved in, I found out that that was like at the time like the social media capital. Like there was so many influencers in that apartment,
Uh-huh.
um millions of followers, millions of I was a small fish,
Mhm.
but they would always ask me to be like in their video, and be
Yeah.
like, hey, we need a fit girl for this little comedy skit or whatever. I'd be like, okay, sure, I'll do it. So
Yeah.
I just made like little appearances here and there, and that kind of grew it. But I will say, with that being said, it did grow my numbers and my engagement at the time, but not necessarily fitness focused followers, if that makes sense. They're
Yeah.
just random people, which doesn't really do much for like a fitness type person, which I turned out to be, mainly just fitness. So
Exactly.
I've moved away from that apartment since then. I live in LA, or I'm sorry, I live in Vegas. I moved from LA. Now I'm in Vegas. But what it did teach me is like little social media tricks and tips and stuff like that. But now I just honestly I focus more on like content that I want to post. And I find that's like, hey, even if it doesn't like get to as many people or gonna be like that viral, whoever does see this, hey, it might be some motivation for them. Because
Exactly.
fitness content usually doesn't get as much traction as like mainstream type comedy
Yeah,
type
more like
stuff. You know what
niche
I
or
mean?
niche content.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
like, but if you're posting stuff that you like, I think it comes through as more genuine and more
Mhm.
like, people can sense that, and people
Yeah.
wanna see and care about what you're posting. They wanna see that you actually wanna post and you're not just posting because.
Right. Totally. Totally.
So, I think that's really important is, like, having followers that, like, have a connection with you and, like,
Yeah.
have a genuine connection, which I think is something that you've been able to do pretty successfully.
Yeah, I try to bridge the gap a little bit too. Like, I mean, I guess my main thing is like and you kind of hit the nail on the head earlier. I
Mhm.
like to show people that hey, this can be fun. Like you're in
Yeah.
prep, but this can also be fun. Like I'm not miserable. Of course, I have my days where I feel tired. I'm cranky. Sometimes I do feel like that. I am human. But this is fun. It doesn't always have to be like posting chicken and asparagus and telling everyone how miserable you are from all the cardio you did. And it was like, you know what I mean? I like to
Yeah.
bridge the gap a little bit and be like, hey, this is fun. Look, I'm having fun with this. You can too. You just gotta do it the right way.
Exactly, and if you're going into it with the correct mindset, then it will change everything. I think, like, mindset literally is, like, the most important piece to anything that you do in life.
Hmm.
If you don't go into it with, like, the proper mindset, you're never gonna succeed or you're going to like feel so negatively about like everything.
Yeah, I agree.
So did you always work with Team Elite Physique?
In Ohio, I was working with another coach. It wasn't like a big name or anything. She just had a few girls, but I've been working with Team Elite Physique since 2017. So it's been a while now.
Yeah, it's been quite a while now. So do you work for them as well and coach?
Yes. Yeah, I'm one of their coaches, and also I help with the posing, and I'll be at their posing clinics that they do and everything like that. I like to call myself the team mascot too.
That's how I found out about the team. And Adam is from you. So I think that you are like kind of the mascot. I think that's a good way to describe it. It's so funny. And then you guys started the gym out there in Vegas, right?
Yep.
And then you recently moved to Vegas?
I've been living here for over a year. So after, the virus situation hit, LA, it went to crap. I mean, a lot of places did, but especially LA. And it was kind of like a wake up call, like, oh God, I got to get out of here. You know what I mean? So I bought a house here in Vegas and I love it. The fitness community out here is awesome. And the weather is great. And yeah, it's a perfect place for me. The place I live in is definitely nowhere near the strip. It's not like crazy like that. It's actually peaceful, outdoorsy, scenic area. So I'm really, really happy about it.
That's great. The suburbs of Vegas are really nice. And that's like kind of like a fitness hub. There's so many like cool gyms and so many like competitors all together. So I think that's a great place. Like that fits you.
Yeah. And something too is like, I feel like all these fitness people just migrated here in this last year, just like I did. They weren't here before, but now there's a whole bunch of them.
That's very true. Because I think everyone wanted to go where the gyms were open.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
like a big part of it. But so I also really am very curious. What does a typical day look like for you during prep? Like training wise, diet wise?
So we'll take today for example. I woke up at 3 a.m. And then I ate breakfast. I walked a mile to Orange Theory because it was nice weather. And I did cardio at Orange Theory. I used that as my cardio. Then I walked a mile home. And then I ate again, and then I got ready to go to the Contest Prep Center to train with my friend Sam. So we went to, I went to the Contest Prep Center. We trained. I did the podcast with Adam, and then I came home I did the podcast with him, and then I did my client check-ins. Then I came home and I prepped some food. Now I'm talking to you.
Cool. What kind of foods do you like to eat? Do you eat like the typical like chicken and rice, or do you kind of like mix it up? Do you cut out dairy like some people do?
Well, so let's see. Well, one thing about me is I'm very picky. Okay. So I don't eat any seafood at all. I think it's gross. I don't eat turkey. Sometimes I can do steak, mostly chicken. Even egg whites I can't do unless they're like the flavored egg whites, like muscle egg I can do. But I'm more of like a sweets person. So I will have like yogurt and cottage cheese. I like that if I put some stevia in it. But I'll cut those out like the last week till a show. And protein shakes, protein bars. I love protein bars. But yeah, I definitely like sweets. I even put stevia on my chicken and vegetables. It's crazy, but yeah.
I've never heard of that. That's hilarious.
Yeah. I love sweets.
What's your favorite cheat meal?
Every time I get asked this, I'm just like, I don't know. I'm not really a foodie, honestly, which I think works in my advantage. I don't have these intense cravings like everyone else. I think, honestly, I've retrained my taste buds to like not crave that. If anything, like it would be like a cookie, if you want sweet white chocolate chip macadamia nut cookie or a brownie or something. But honestly, if we're referring to like after show, oh my gosh, just give me a shower and pajamas and hair and sloppy bun and a protein bar and a Diet Coke and I'm good. I'm like, usually I'm just like exhausted after show, just like, just want to chill.
You're like, I relax. I remember all I wanted was a shower and a water.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to want food and I was like, I don't care. I want this tan off and I want a bottle of water.
Yeah. Wipe off all the makeup, put the hair in a sloppy bun. Yeah, I feel you.
It's like not what I thought it was going to be. I know my first time I really expected to just want food. But
right.
that's not the case at all.
Yeah, I feel like honestly on show day, it's rare that I'm hungry because I feel like even after the show, all the adrenaline and emotions is like, you're not even thinking about food. And then it's kind of like, it's there. But
Whatever.
yeah. And then sometimes you get out so late. It's just like,
That's true.
I
Some
don't
people
know.
going really late.
I just want to go to bed,
Like, I'm over it.
Yeah.
How did you feel after winning your first Olympia?
That was the craziest thing to ever happen to me. The happiest moment in my life by far to date. I think it was, like I said, I was just wanting to win one pro show to qualify for Olympia, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm just so grateful to be here. Just being here is like the goal is accomplished. And I was like, you know what? If I got top 10 or something, that would be really crazy. If I got like top 10, I don't want to like even put that as a goal because that's too far out there to put top 10 as a goal. Like, oh, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, when they were doing the call outs and stuff, I got first call out and I was like, there's no way I'm a first call out. I think they're doing a different pattern this time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're trying to switch it up on us, for the entertainment, the shock. Yeah. So like, I was like, maybe it's like in reverse, right? Maybe first call is actually last call out. And then they're like building it up to the first. So that's like,
you're automatically like, I must be last call out. There's no way.
To me, it made more sense that I was last call out than first call out. You know what I mean? Because my mind wasn't there. And I, even after like the prejudging, people be like, wow, congrats, she got first call. I'm like, I don't know if that was first call out.
You're like, are you sure?
There's no way that's first call out. And then it finally hit me when they were like calling, our placings. They do like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then I noticed like, whoa, wait a minute, hold on. The girl's in first call out, like she got third. And then the other girl in my call, she got second. I'm like, there's no way. No way. And then I ended up winning. It was the craziest thing. And I broke down in tears because I was such an underdog. Like I did not expect myself to win. No one else did. I just kind of popped up out of nowhere. And, even just going back and forth, it's one thing if you can meet your goal, but to exceed your goal is like 10 times more satisfying. It's crazy, So it's so cool that it wasn't even like on my radar. I thought that was too out of reach to even be like top 10 was like, whoa, that's wishful thinking.
Exactly.
So to get first, my mind was blown. I was like, oh my God. And I just couldn't sleep that night. I'm like, my life is about to change forever right now.
Literally.
So, yeah.
Olympia is like such a big milestone. And I really think your life really does change forever with like brand sponsorships and notoriety. And like, that is kind of when you become like a legend, I think.
Yeah.
And then winning it 3 times is like a whole nother thing.
Yeah. So yeah, it is crazy, but it's something that I will never forget. And, even I made a promise to myself, like I won 3 Olympias and no matter what happens after that, I cannot be disappointed. I will never allow myself to be disappointed. I will not allow myself to be sad, whatever placing I get, because I've already done something super incredible that very few people will ever be able to experience. Exactly. So I always go into that too. Like this is icing on the cake right now, Yeah.
So, anything else you do is exactly. It's like icing on the cake. It's something extra and special, but you've already done so much more than most people will accomplish in their whole lifetime. And so, everything going forward is just like exciting as well.
Yeah, it is. And, I'm really excited about even the future too. Cause I never, how do I say this? I never feel like I'm close to being done. Like I want my season to continue on. So I get excited every single show. So, I'm just really looking forward to even next year and the rest of this year. Cause I still got some shows to go this year too.
That's great. But I think that's a great way to look at things is just keep doing it as long as you're enjoying it. And don't think of like an end date or like, at this age, I'm going to stop competing or whatever. It's like, no, just keep competing until you don't love it anymore.
Exactly. So that's the way I think of it. I'm highly motivated. I've not lost any focus whatsoever. My body is holding up really well. No complaints. I'm super lucky to have this lifestyle. Like I don't have kids. I don't even have pets. I have a pet boyfriend. That's it. I don't have family to take care of around here. So I'm like a free bird. And literally I'm one of those people that I could be like, okay, yeah, I'll do the show this weekend, whatever, and just drop everything I'm doing because I have the life that I'm able to do that. And, working with Team Elite Physique, I'm kind of like on my own hours. So I don't necessarily have to like commit to anything and just, living life.
You are a free bird and you can drop everything if you want to and jump in a show and you stay in shape and in like striking distance of like stage ready. So you don't like fluctuate a bunch, which not only is good to enter in shows, but also is good for your body not to fluctuate so much. So you're not putting so much stress on your body.
Yep.
So I think that you're like lucky might not be the right word. You have purposefully taken care of your body. And I think you probably have, not probably, I think you have good genetics as well. And then plus like muscle maturity and everything from like running track and like, so your body's like already at it's still in its prime and it's just, it's still going.
Yeah, I like to think so. And I get really excited when I see like improvements from show to show. And I'm sure you do too. Like anytime you see a new like improvement at the gym or whatever, you're like, whoa, I didn't see this line before. Like, so it's really fun. And, I just hope I can keep improving and we'll see what happens.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. It was so great talking to you.
Thank you for having me.
And then where can we find you on socials?
So Ashley K Fit on Instagram and then YouTube, Ashley Kaltwasser with a K.
With a K? Cool.
With a K.
For everyone listening, I will have her socials in the show notes. And thank you so much for coming on.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us for this week's episode of The Gainz. Join us weekly for new episodes and special guests. Make sure to head over to thegainzbox.com or Gainzbox on Instagram to get yourself a Gainzbox today.